Okay, here I am, Sergeant Dave, at the Crown Plaza Hotel in downtown Orlando, and I'm here with the Revitalizing Lives podcast on klrnradio.net. Still involved with an epic event this weekend with Shadow Warriors and Beyond the Battlefield, and I have someone really instrumental with Beyond the Battlefield. Just an incredible guy, Sergeant Seth Bai. He's a 2-4 enthusiast, Marine. He's an advocate, veteran service officer. Yes, he's from Boston, but he's not a complete masshole. He knows how to use his blink to come aboard.
Thank you so much.
I'm really excited to have you here. So I'm going to lay it on you right now and just give us a little tee up of why you're here, what's your involvement beyond the battlefield, and just tell us a little bit of what this weekend was to you and your group.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thanks for the invite, Dave. So yes, my name is Seth Bai, and I am in the background of the documentary that we filmed and viewed over the weekend with Beyond the Battlefield, which was Bastards Road. I was sent here per the direction of the protagonist of that story, Staff Sergeant Jon Hancock, who walked 5,800 miles across this nation to go visit our brothers in our Gold Star families, just to remind them that they are not alone in what we're all doing, what Beyond the Battlefield, what Shadow Warriors is doing. This is a group effort, and it's going to take all of us from all parts of the country to get down to talk about these issues. Veteran suicide, PTSD, all the challenges that veterans, families of veterans, and first responders face on the day-to-day.
You know, I just want to let you know, I'm a TBI recipient, if you want to call it that way. I got a second syndrome, which means in a 30-day period, a lot of people don't know, second syndrome is when you get, in a 30-day period, you get 2 blasts. Okay. But mine was from friendly fire, okay? It's just one of the things. You know how many accidents soldiers get killed on accidents? And I'm one of them. My 19-year-old gunner died right next to me, and that's why I do what I do. And you do what you do because you've been involved with veterans advocacy. You're there at the foundation of it, at the VA and all that stuff. You get your hands involved there. So that event, that movie just struck us. I mean, there wasn't a dry eye in that whole theater. I just want to let you know, everybody was just it was so emotional. It was up and down. He was funny. This is going to be a hit, you know.
Yes, so it's compelling.
Can you help us out with a little bit more intro about the show, about the movie, and how it all started?
Absolutely, sure. So, as I was speaking yesterday to the film, it is not a merry-go-round. It is a roller coaster. There wasn't a dry eye in the place. You are going to get the whole complete picture of Jon's process. And basically, that's what the Bastards Road documentary film is trying to relay. It's a process, because when these young men and women come back from their deployments, they're going to have to readjust, realign themselves, get some directions, get some goals, but they're still going to have to work through their service and what they experienced when they were deployed, when they were serving our country. So the movie really just speaks to Jon's heroic attempt to try to figure it out, and we all sit around and watch him fall on his face, and fall on his face, and fall on his face. And he fell a few times. And so he gets back up, and he's a champion. And let's be honest, everyone downstairs here at the summit, we're all champions for veterans. But the movie basically just shows how he had to keep getting back up.
And I tell you, when he said some moments in that movie that just struck everybody, when he said, "Remember the thing that's make more noise at night?"
Yeah.
Think about it. At night, silent, and the night can kill you. Don't worry about the noises at night.
Don't worry about the things that stalk you quietly. They're going to come for you at night anyway.
I love that one, right?
Yep.
And then another one hit me. We're all suicide hotlines. We all are.
Yeah. I'm your suicide hotline. Yeah.
Right. I am too.
Yeah.
321-356-6559. Okay? You know to call me, Sergeant Dave with klrnradio.net. I'm also on Veterans 45. Please go to that site. It's not just for veterans. Even a patriotic person can join. It's Veterans 4, FOR, and the number 45. Come on, join that site. Great patriotic site as well, okay? So another thing I wanted to talk about was dehumanizing the enemy. You dehumanize the enemy at the time. And so Bastard Road just brought it all out. And another good point to the movie was you want to eliminate the term Kill 22. And I thought that was so strong because I have an advocate who actually she dropped my show because at the last show I talked about Kill 22 again, and she says, Dave, I'm done with your show. I've talked to you about this. It's way more than 22, and I'm sorry, but I can't watch your show anymore because you keep mentioning Kill 22, and I lost her, and she was a big advocate.
Understood.
And now, after hearing what you said,
yes.
it was like, I got to call this lady. I got to say, I'm so sorry. I should have listened to you from the beginning. So tell us more about why you don't want to really use the Kill 22.
Okay. Yeah, so there was a couple talking points John wanted me to touch on before I took off. And one was the stigma of 22. Like, I'm not, like I said yesterday, I don't want anybody to start ripping their patches off their vests or anything. But at the end of the day, what you and I are doing, Sergeant Dave, we're trying to reduce that number. Right. So we can't fall in love with that number. That number's got to come down. Right. Obviously, we want that number to be 0. Right. And to tell you the truth, it's getting better. It's really not even at 22 anymore. It's down around 19. But the point of the matter is, it's important to not fall in love with that number. It's important to have spirit about championing the movement of creating less veteran suicides. So that, along with the other takeaway that John and I were both going with, was so many times, and it's just become boilerplate, that you'll be out at an event and you'll be with first responders and or veterans, and you hear the thank you for your service. And when you take a quick step back, just to, yes, we all appreciate you saying thank you for our service, but guess what? When each and every single one of us military men and women, when we put our hand up in the sky and we took the oath, we didn't do it for you. I'm sorry, but we didn't. We did it for ourselves, and we did it to the man and the woman to the left and the right of us. So what John and I are trying to start this awareness movement is welcome home or welcome back. Because you're not really sure what you're thanking someone for their service. As John's movie starts off in the beginning, he's going to tell you about the darkest place when he had friendly fire, like you and I were talking about earlier before we started. What are you thanking John for? So let's just stop for a second and say, hey, welcome back or welcome back home. Right. That's what those are.
And we know the phrase, a veteran is someone who at one point in their life wrote a blank check made payable to the United States of America for an amount up to and including their life. But they weren't supposed to take their life over this. So that's the one thing we got to do. And you're right about getting it down to 0. And when now, because I was working on that, thank you for your service. So I go further. How can I help you? Thank you for your service. And how can I help you? And that's what I go I peel the next layer of the onion, and I get right to them, and I tell them, how can I really help you? Because I want to go the next level, and I want to have more contact with that veteran. And so tell me more about what you're doing in Boston.
Sure. Mind. You know what? I'm going to dovetail to what you just said, and I'm just going to give myself a little bit more work, and I don't mind that. Yeah. It's thank you for your service. How can I help you? Have you met my friend Seth? Because what I do up in Boston is I'm a veteran service officer. My job at City Hall is I service the servicemen and women, doesn't matter, 24 to 94, honorable discharge, all that good stuff. I serve them all. That's my whole strata. So what we basically need to do is we need to get down to the grassroots level to make sure that in each and every community, whether we're talking about Minnesota, Wyoming, Rhode Island, South Carolina, someone needs to find their Seth Bai in their region and then plug into their benefits. And if they already have their benefits, then make sure your buddy down the street that served back in Korea or Vietnam, make sure he talks to the local guy and gets his benefits.
Well, think about the local guy. That's what I am. I'm a VSO for VFW. I am the junior vice commander for the VFW post, 10139 Chiliotis, East Seminole County post. So I am the veteran service officer. I am new to this. I'm a greenie. Okay, yeah. I'm green, and I'm learning all that. We had our state meeting, and I took a bunch of notes, so I'm getting it. But the COVID is in our way. We just opened up our canteen, Seth, okay? So we've been struggling. The VFW, we couldn't pay our light bills. We had to cancel our big fireworks. We have a huge $6,000 we spend on just fireworks, right? We have a pond out front, and it's the biggest community event in Chiliota. It's everyone. They've been doing it for 17 years straight, okay? This is the first year we had to cancel it. Because our building is falling apart. We have a 105-year-old building, okay? And it's an awesome old school from Chile. So it has a lot of rich history in the community. So we're trying to climb back, and maybe you can assist us with the VFW, whatever you like, whatever you can do. And once again, vetunite.org, right in your backyard. I would love to have you connect with Damon, Mike Damon. He's the one I met. Wounded Boston Wounded Warrior
right?
Yes. That's where I met those guys at Ace Cafe. I think that was 3 years ago. Okay. You talk about a great event. That was another one. And combat veterans were there. They had a stage, music. That was another epic weekend.
Yeah.
But this one went further. This Shadow Warrior event, to me, was a roller coaster ride emotionally, too. I mean, and Chance is at Hollywood. He's an awesome guy, man. He's a guy who knows how to run a crowd. He's really good in the crowd. And
great prizes, great event, great people, great food.
Great patriotism. Oh, my God.
It was an amazing weekend.
Oh, and just the people. I mean, to have Don Jenkins there, talk about Don Jenkins. What a funny guy, right?
My goodness.
And, I got a picture of him, I was just holding it, and then he takes it out of my hand, the Medal of Honor recipient, and he puts it around my neck. I couldn't believe it. Whoa, this is not a curse, is it?
Yeah.
No, then he put it around another rider's neck, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm not the only one. Good. So I can't find the photo. Can you help me get that photo?
I'll start asking around. No problem.
Gotta have that photo. Yeah. So basically I did take notes. So I'm probably the only one in the room that took 2.5 pages of notes in the dark, dude, with a lot of salt on the paper, right?
Yep.
So I took notes, and I was so let's talk about Ramadi. Oh my God, when I heard that you lost that many soldiers, and I don't know if you have the exact number.
I think I pulled it up from John. It
was my God, when I heard that.
John went through 7 pairs of shoes. He visited 12 Gold Star families, and along his 5,800-mile trek, he visited 63 veteran families. 63
That is
veteran
amazing,
families.
man.
It is, yeah.
What just made him do that? I mean, he said he woke up one night, and he couldn't sleep. He just got up and just did it. And then he kind of wanted, what am I doing this for? Now he knows what he's doing it for.
Yes.
Oh, my God. So now he's got his why, right? He's got his purpose.
Yes.
And he's going to help other veterans.
Yep.
Because they need to get it out. Obviously, that's the most difficult thing. I don't know why they're not talking. The phone is, everybody has a phone. They're just not reaching out. And we got to get them to reach out. Don't be afraid to make that call.
Pick up the phone.
It's not weak. You're not weak anymore.
That's what Brian Britton said in the film.
Yeah.
It's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength.
It's a sign of strength. So we got to turn that around. And I think it's starting to work. I really do. 4 days after 9/11, that's when John graduated.
Correct.
Can you imagine the impact? Now, I'm one of those guys that stood up in the event who re-enlisted after 9/11. And I was so proud. That was the first time that someone announced me who re-enlisted after 9/11. I felt really proud of that moment. So I can imagine what he went through just coming out of Marine boot camp.
Yes.
4 days after 9/11.
I can touch on this on a little personal note, too. So John obviously landed in the unit that I was in because I was the platoon sergeant. I got married to my twins' mom on September 1st. 9/11 happened 10 days later. David, I literally got off my honeymoon and the red phone rang and shit got real. You know what I mean? That's when the whole world opened up. So it was like, wow, this is how it's going to go down.
September 9th.
Yes.
Same thing happened to me. September 9th, I got married. 2 days later. Unbelievable.
Yeah,
wasn't it? I was just devastated. I bought the Tony Robbins freaking kit. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm all ready. And 9/11, I just ordered that kit. I'm not going to open that up. Yeah. And I was selling timeshare at the time, right? They'd force us to go in there to the Marriott for a whole month with no one coming through that door. But they made us sit there, and it was the worst feeling because they didn't pay you. You only got paid commission. Yeah. But they made us sit there for a whole month. It was devastating. I had to quit. I said, you can't put this, I can't do this, man. I got to work. I got to do something. I can't show up at 7 o'clock in the morning every day. The disaster what happened to our country, So I started working out and getting ready for exercise. And I'm going back in. So it's something I had to do. And I'm so glad I did. The camaraderie, how that works. The camaraderie's awesome. So you got out of the military.
Yep.
And you got you got a degree or anything? How did that work?
Yes. Right when I was wrapping up my Marine Corps career, I matriculated into Boston College. I got my undergraduate in social work, which allows me to do what I do up in Boston. And because I'm a veteran, so I already kind of get the job. So I'm basically a social worker specifically for veterans. So I don't have a license, but I do have my degree in that field. So it's great. I mean, more often than not, I mean, I do love my job. I put my head on the pillow every night. I'm usually sleeping pretty good. I love that feeling when I'm putting 100 gallons of oil in a World War II widow's tank. I love that feeling.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it takes all of us to support all of us. and I'm going to have to respond to a suicide, and I'm going to have to respond to, eventually, we all fade away, and we're going to take that dirt nap. But, veteran service officers like yourself and me, we're there for the transition, in whatever facility that might be. And that's why we're here, to take care of us all.
So in 2008, I couldn't do it. I just got back to work. My injuries were exacerbated from my first injury in Afghanistan because they stuck me back in. I got recruited. That's what they did.
Okay.
Sergeant Matthews, we have a slot for you. Okay. We want you to be the 74th Delta, right? Don't worry, you don't have to go to school. You just do an online course, and you have an E5 slot waiting for you. We want you to come back. Okay. Right. So okay, I'm on it. I'm on it. So I go train up, and I'm up at Camp Shelby, and all of a sudden, then they made me do a maneuver, and I had to jump over, reacting to a sniper. Remember that?
Yeah.
With all the gear, 60 pounds. Well, I did it, and then I just tore my meniscus tear, right? And then they're like, nah, don't worry, you're old. That's old age, because I'm the oldest, I'm like one of the oldest. That's old age. Take colocomonium, whatever you want to call that, right? Take that. Don't worry, you're old age. Don't worry, we'll give you you'll be a driver. I go, it's my right foot, man. I can't get a sciatic nerve problem, right? I'm like, damn. So finally the doctor saw that, okay, you're not going to be, so I go back, right? Well, when I came back, one of my, in my platoon, I was actually in my, he took his own life.
Okay.
Right, not too far from the post.
Okay.
And he did it with a shotgun in the back of his house. He was brain matter all over his house. And they called me up to help clean it up. I told him I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Because I had a soldier I lost in my first deployment, 19-year-old right next to me. I went through all that. And I had to do closure with the wife, with the Gold Star mother. Did you ever have to do that?
Yes.
That was a 20-minute conversation. She wanted to know, just like the movie. So that's why I needed tissue. Next time, pass out some tissue. Because when they said, you got to have closure with the mother, right? And that's exactly what I did. It was a 20-minute. How was my son's last 24 hours on Earth? Oh, my God, you talking about, whoa. I had to answer that to her. And I couldn't keep it in. But I'm so glad I got that out. Because I could move on. I could literally move on. So that's what we got to get out of these veterans. If they come into a situation like that, if you have to call the Gold Star mother up, you have to call the Gold Star family. They want to hear they want to hear about their son, their daughter, their last few days, and the fun time you had. And that's what Jon did. When Jon did that.
Yeah, towards the end, that's one of the takeaways was he had to forgive himself for a few things, and he hadn't done that. Other guys in our unit, other guys from the deployment had already worked through their issues. Jon hadn't done that yet. So it took him, 5,800 miles to figure it out.
That's amazing. He's got to have the record. I don't know anyone that's done. I heard 33,000 was pretty cool.
Okay.
Because I know a guy he must have took his idea. He had to. Shane Johnson, Marine. Okay. And he went to Camp Pendleton. He left from Florida.
Okay.
And he made a big deal of the whole thing. And now I know he must have got it from you guys. He had to have, right?
Well, I like to give Jon credit. Jon's not like a Forrest Gump hack. He didn't go from East Coast to West Coast. He took a circuitous route and he visited people. So there was a lot of rhyme and reason to it. It just wasn't exactly how the crow flies.
Right. 5,800.
Yeah.
And that's why it took 15 months.
Yes.
And that story about can you help me out with that story again? How he wore the boots of a soldier.
Mikey Simons. Yes.
Can you tell that story to our audience?
Yeah, real quick. So Lorelei Simons reached out to Jon along his walk. A lot of families started to find out because news teams started picking up what Jon was doing when he was walking around. And Lorelei Simons got together and met up with Jon along his route. And her son, Mikey Simons, as Jon so eloquently puts it, he came back from his deployments and he had some demons and he struggled with them. And Lorelei wanted to make sure that she could have a piece of Mikey keep living on with this whole idea of what we're doing when we're trying to support veterans. So Jon took Mikey Simon's boots and he wore them for a little bit in Spokane, Washington, and then he took them off just so he could finish the last 75 miles. But I wanted to speak to you about what you just mentioned about Gold Star families in the last 24 hours, and I want to be on the show for this. When we were watching the end of the documentary, when the Schrage family is at the end, and Nina Schrage is talking about Dustin Schrage, yes. God rest his soul,
yes.
And Kerry, his brother, who walked with Jon on the way in.
That's a great story.
I have a silly, stupid story, but I just want to make sure it's out there. I took Nina to the side when we were in Florida 2 years ago, 2018, and I'm like, hey, I got to tell you a story about Dustin. And it's silly, but I know you want to hear it. And I'm about to date myself. I'm about to date you. So this is like back in like early 2000s, and we're on our way back from Mountain Warfare Survival School in Bridgeport, California, and Dustin Trage is sitting across from me on the big charter bus. You know how you big movies.
Yeah.
And this is back in the day with, remember CD cases? We used to have CD cases. They were this big as a Bible. So I was just kind of like looking over there because I was bored, and I'm the platoon sergeant. I got to make sure this guy's doing his thing and he's doing his thing. Everyone's got their weapon, right? No one forgot their weapon, right? So I'm looking over. I'm just kind of eyeballing Dustin Trage's CD case, and he's like, "Hey, Sergeant Bai, anything over here you want to take a look at? You want to listen to something?" I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, "You got any Stone Temple Pilots?" He's like, "Oh, Sergeant Bai, I don't have anything that old."
That old?
When did Stone Temple Pilots become that old?
Cool, right? Cumbersome?
Yeah.
Oh my God, what a song.
Oh well, so yeah, I shared that with Nina, and she got a laugh out of it, and I got a laugh. We get to laugh.
STP?
Yeah,
it's too old.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He dated me like that.
Yeah.
CD cases, man. Oh, wow.
Right. So what's the next project? I mean, I can't wait. I heard a rumor July. They're coming back in July, doing another event in July. What's the next project that you see before the year's out? Because right now the prisoners are running the asylum right now, right? With COVID, what's going on in Washington and Portland and these big cities, and there's a concern there, right?
Of course there is.
That's why I do with the Veterans for 45. Okay, so I used to have, and I got a lot of people talking. I have my own 501c3. I never forgotten memorials. I built fallen soldier memorials across the country. For guess who? A band that you probably when you were a kid.
Who?
Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley.
Kiss.
Okay, Kiss. Right?
Yeah.
So
Love Gun!
yeah, there you go. So what happened is they have a franchise and they use their name and they're called Rock and Brews Restaurant, right? So rockandbrews.com/Oviedo. Okay, that's my hometown store, 1 mile from my house. Okay, so I started my first memorials. I did 3 there. I did one for the local hero. His name's Brendan N. Salazar. Went to Haggerty High School. His 8th day on boots on the ground. IED got him. They got it went knocked out. 8 days, 20 years old. Sad story, right? Gold Star mother, Giovanna Nelson, Lieutenant Colonel, and she fixes Apache helicopters. Amazing woman, right? So got to meet her, and I got a great new bond with another Gold Star family. So that's I got to do something for the police. Right? So I did a police one for the 6 Seminole sheriff deputies that died on duty, and I got to do something for firemen, right? So further down, I got one for the 7 Seminole sheriff firefighters that lost their life under. So I got that. So they're like, Dave, can you go across the country for us? Where you sending me? Texas? I'm there. So the Colony, Texas did a great event, full blown. So I do events. I start from the beginning. The invocation. I got the taps. I got echo taps. I got the 21 volley. I do it all. I get the bagpipers show up. So I do the whole thing. And then they said, "Can you do another one?" Yeah. Albuquerque. Went to Albuquerque. Did a great one. And that was a Purple Heart city. So I did something with the Purple Heart George Washington statue and everything. It was great. And so we just finished one in Tampa. I got one coming. I would love to invite you, man, because I'm allowed to invite 4 people. I don't know if you can make it. It's like the first week in November.
My immediate answer is yes.
Okay, awesome.
I always want to hang out with more family.
Right, so this is going to be a great event. We're going to unveil the new memorial, and it's a battle cross. You know what that is, right?
Yes.
So it's done by 360 steel, which is flat, right? It's flat. It's made out of steel, but it gives it that 3-dimensional, with the boots, the Kevlar, and the M4. And then beside that, I have it on a perfect brick American flag, 3x5, perfect. Stars are painted, do all that. And beside each side, bookends, American Eagle, colored stone American Eagle guarding it. So that's the next one. That's the one that's ready to open up. I'd love to have you guys come in.
Yes.
If you can get Jon Hancock or anyone like that, because this is an event where they open it up to the community. It's called a community event, but you're testing food too. So you test all their food. Drinks are for free, and it's just a great way. And I can tie you in with this incredible organization.
We've got so many messages out there. We want to dovetail it with your message. Bastards Road Project, Jon's nonprofit on the side. We're going to walk long distances and figure some shit out. That's his message.
Okay, so he probably loves Tampa.
Yep.
Okay, so it's just 20 minutes north. I-4, 75. 20 minutes, Premium Outlet Mall. Real simple. And all you got to do is Google Premium Outlet Mall, and there it is. with the Rolling Stone, Mick Jagger tongue, the Stone tongue on the album, right?
Yeah.
You can't miss it. It's always everywhere. And I tell you, just want to tell you a little bit about Rock and Brew, and they don't like me to market this, but I always do. Every morning at 10:45, okay, all of a sudden the staff, you'll hear them just all of a sudden stop what they're doing. They'll find where the American flag is out front, and Jimi Hendrix is doing the national anthem on his guitar, right? And then immediately after that, it's like a 20-second clip, right? Immediately after, they got someone doing the Pledge of Allegiance. You're not going to believe who.
Tell me.
John Wayne.
Okay.
Every
the
day.
Duke.
The Duke. Every day they do that. So how did I get involved with this organization, this restaurant? So I'm a mile away, right? All of a sudden I look over, there's a flagpole attached to the building. I said, why isn't it separate? What? I never saw a flagpole attached to the building, right? I'm like, I got to pull over. And I pulled over exactly at that 10:45 time. I went, I got to be connected with this group, man. And ever since, I'm their veteran liaison, and now I'm doing their landscaping. Because my memorials, right? The bushes are growing, and I went, what's going on, man? You're disrespecting the memorials out there. What's going on, GM? Right?
Yeah.
Because, man, I fired that company 3 months ago. Dave will hurt my money. I go, hey, I'll do it. We'll make a deal. We'll negotiate. So I got a deal, right? Half food, half cash.
Nice.
You can't say no to that.
No.
So it's great. I love doing that too. So I'm staying busy like you.
Good.
I wish I went through social work. I made a mistake. I went through criminal justice at UCF. So, I made that. I don't know why I didn't go social worker. So there's my veterans, UCF veterans
Nice.
challenge coin. So I did the veteran project with them. I got a 3.1. So when you get 3.1, you get a coin.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so really happy. But I wish I did social work. I made a mistake. I don't know why. Because I was an MP.
Yeah.
So when you're an
Makes
MP,
sense,
I said, I'll stick with. And I was security for 5 years. I did all that. So I don't know. I wish I did social worker, man. But
That's the back door. Yeah. That's how you get
Yeah.
into doing the advocacy. Actually, yeah.
Yeah, but so I'm doing advocacy on the side. So let's talk about my organization real quick. So Never Forgotten Memorials. People are telling me, Dave, you can undissolve it. So I undissolved it in February because COVID and everything, and I'm 6,700 in a hole with it. When you start your own and you think people are going to help, and I wake up every morning thinking, hey, I'm going to get a $10,000 check today, right? And it didn't come.
You had a good dream.
It didn't come.
Yeah.
Then COVID came. I go. So I put all my efforts now into Veterans 45 in the VFW.
Okay.
So I'm staying even busier.
Yeah.
Right. But now all these people I met this weekend, Dave, undissolve that, man. You got the passion to keep that going, and I can. I just call up the state, hey, and I just got to send my tax return, which is really easy. The quick tax return, easy return. I'll get it back. I think I'm going to do that, Seth.
We're all excited about that, Dave. We're all excited about that.
So let's wrap it up, man.
Okay.
So let's give you a last 2 minutes of what happened this weekend, and we'll close out the show.
Fantastic. So Shadow Warriors invited Bastards Road documentary to come down here and get down and meet all of you guys. I just got the message from Jon Hancock last night that we just won another award at another film festival. I believe it was the Loudon Arts Film Festival. I will be with Jon Hancock and several other magnificent bastards in 2 weeks in Sheridan, Wyoming for another screening of Bastards Road. So we are going to hold this close to our breast. We're going to stomp down the pandemic, and we're just going to keep promoting this up into 2021, and we're going to keep the campaign going.
It's a great documentary.
Thank you.
You're going to see it out there, and I think Netflix will pick it up. I really do.
Yeah. A little side note is there was so much footage that Brian Morrison had that we actually sat back. This almost was going to be a 3-part documentary, but they condensed it down to just the one.
That was perfect.
It could have been a 3-part documentary.
Right.
It really could.
So who is Brian Morrison?
Brian Morrison is the director, and/or he operated the drone, because that's a lot of drone work.
I know. I saw that. So was he a Marine?
Nope. He's a film producer. That's what he does. Him and John went to high school together. Mark Swafford helped Brian put it into cinematography and wrote how John was out.
Yeah, looking for the next event. Any event you want to just shout out right now that's coming up real quick?
Sheridan, Wyoming, coming up in early October. I think it's the weekend of the 1st through the 5th, so I'll be in Wyoming for that. Aside from that, we all know that Veterans Day is on November 11th coming up. Yeah, we got about 60 days.
And then we got the election, November 3rd. Okay.
Boom, boom, boom.
Okay,
Marine Corps birthday, November 10th.
That's right.
Thank you so much, Dave.
Another
Love you, brother.
Another Bostonian in the house. So
pleasure
awesome.
to meet you guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah, great to meet you, Seth. All right, so we're signing off here at Sergeant Dave Revitalizing Lives show on KLRN Radio. Stay in tune. You can email me at sgtdavematthews@gmail.com. That's 2 T's and Dave Matthews at Gmail. And go to Veterans for 45. You don't have to be a veteran. You can be just ultimate patriot. It's okay. What a great group, okay? We're getting close to 500. Once we hit 500, we're going to get T-shirts. Sergeant Dave on KLRN Radio. Pop Smoke out.